Turnbuckles Trunks and Titles presents to you Nicholas London and Cueball Carmichael.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Triple T TV. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yes, it's me. But the guy on the other side of me just happens to be wearing a set of glasses. That doesn't change who he is. He is still the man of the hour, the man with the power, too sweet to be sour. You know, he's funky like a monkey. His name just happens to be Cueball Carmichael. Q, how are you, my friend?
Very well, Nick. How are you this evening?
Okay, listen, enough with this sophistication talk. Okay, we're going to change this up a bit. There we go. Now I know who you are. You're the smart mouth. Q, I'm well, my friend. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. The thing with the glasses is, funny story, is I was in the police academy. And I woke up one day and my shoe width was cloudy. And we were just about to qualify, which is 6 days on the range, shooting, combat course where you run, holster, run, unholster, shoot, run, and pouring down rain, cold, 40-something degrees down here in December. And anyway, I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, "Hey, you got cataracts." I'm like, "Damn, what?" And he goes, "Yeah." And this is 4 years ago. He goes, "Just in one eye." And he says, "Let me tell you what I can do for you. I can replace your lenses. It's an easy process, doesn't hurt, with monofocal lenses, and you can continue to wear your contacts or glasses. Or option B, you can pay upgrade for torics, but your insurance won't cover the toric lens." And I said, "Geez," he goes, "now what's more important to you, close up, like reading distance, or far away?" I go, "Well, sometimes I drive a patrol car at over 100 miles an hour to get to an emergency call when somebody's sick, hurt, or injured, or there's a gun involved or whatever. I would prefer my long range of vision." Gets done to the eyes, does one eye, you got to wait 5 weeks to get the other one done, and you're laying there, and they put, all you can see is your eye, and they put a series of drops and drops and drops in your eyes, and eventually you stare at a red laser. Well, he cuts your eyeball, and you feel a tug, and he actually pulls your lens out of your eye. Then he puts in the toric synthetic lens, and he has to line it up just perfect because a toric, like a toric contact, is weighted. And when you look far away, it moves in the eye. And when you look up close, it moves again in the eye. So he had told me, did the other eye 5 weeks later. I ended up with 20. Now, keep in mind, I've worn glasses or contacts since I was 10 years old. Turns out, no glasses, no contacts, 2017 vision, which is better than 2020 perfect vision. My shooting scores went up a lot. But he did tell me, in a couple years, you're going to have to use cheaters. So two things happen. Whenever you look at me in the dark, if you put a flashlight on me, you know how a raccoon or a rabbit's eyes will glow back at you, or a cat's eyes? That's what my eyes do. It freaked out all the guys I worked with in the police department when we worked nights, and they would just catch my eyes real quick. They're like, "Oh my God, what's going on with your eyes?" So I had to tell them the story. So anyway, they replaced both lenses. I paid the difference for the upgrade. Actually, that's not true. My big brother, retired Marine, Master Gunnery Sergeant William Jackson, paid for half so I could get both eyes done. So we coughed up over $1,000, and we're able to get it done. And I'm to the point now where the doctor said I would have been 4 years ago, which is, and I've been doing a lot of eye strain with my new job, so I have to wear cheaters here and there to be able to see up close. Like if I go back across, if I go 5 feet away, I can read that screen. If you want me to read that screen here, I got to put these on. So that's what's crazy. But all in all, the best procedure only really procedure I've had. So it worked out.
Good. All sorts of stuff to talk about here tonight. You know what? I'm going to tell you, there's just a million things going on in the world of professional wrestling. And I know how busy you are.
Oh, good ones.
Oh, yeah, real good. In the week alone, we've heard of what was it, Blanchard being fired from Impact Wrestling. We've seen a couple more people be accused of different things.
Why did they fire Blanchard? What did they say happened?
Well, they haven't really released anything on her. She was the Impact champion.
Yeah.
The whole Slammiversary thing has changed. They have not spoke out what's going to happen yet. So therefore, we're not really able to say anything because we don't know anything. And guys, if you want to chime in, as always, you guys know if you're watching this on social media, put something in the comments. It comes right up on our screen. We can see it. Q's always happy to answer any questions that he can, as am I, but Q is the mastermind behind them. And everything else you guys know, you can just go to a hashtag Triple T questions, tag us in it. We are at Triple T Radio on Twitter. You guys know all that. info@tripletradio.com is our email. So we'll try to answer questions if we can throughout the show. Now, Q, take a shot in the dark.
I did go on last week after the show and answer every single question from people.
Yeah, well, you did you did awesome last week. You answered what you could, and
thanks, man.
That was much appreciated. Q, do you have any worry about? You had mentioned about people on the corner pocket about I'm taking this person off it until they are found either not guilty or they're what I mean. Like, how'd you say it about?
Well, what I said is administrative leave.
Right. Thank you.
And related to police work, if you're involved in something that is morally not correct, even if you're not guilty, right? If it's suspected, you're suspended on administrative leave until the incident is finalized or cleared up. Your name is cleared. Or you're found guilty. So what'll happen is, and it really pains me because some of the people I know really, really well. But, I've got to do what's good, not for me. I don't care. But what I got to do is what's right for the corner pocket and for the people that are in the corner pocket. I have to look at that unit and say, is it better if I take the higher moral ground and not say, I'm throwing these guys out. But no, look, you're on administrative leave. I'm sorry. And I would love to have you back. And I'm not saying you're guilty at all. I'm just saying that we hold ourselves in that group to a higher moral standard. And if I was accused of something, you're an administrator on there. JK, my Jazz, and Kumar is an administrator on there. I would step out and let you guys run it, because I would have to recuse myself if I'm going to do that to somebody else. It would only be fair. So, yeah, it hurts. And the thing is, look, it's like that in North Carolina. Here's a weird state for you. If I go up to the magistrate's office and I got a black eye because I was running outside and fell down and hit my face on a soccer ball or whatever, and it made my face swell up and it looked like I've been hit. And I go up to the magistrate's office and say, hey, Nick London hit me in the face for no reason. I want to take out papers. They'll take out a warrant on you.
Well, it makes sense, though, doesn't it?
That part, I don't know if it makes sense. I mean, people can make stuff up here and go to the magistrate's office. Now, what'll happen is they will get in trouble if it isn't true. Let's say that you were 50 miles away, can verify where you were, and I said you hit me. I filed a false police report. So now I'm in trouble. So, yeah, but, look, this is America. It's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, and we have seen the complete shift in the paradigm of guilty until proven innocent now. It's just, it's insane.
Well, here's the thing,
I
right?
got a friend, Ray Jennings did 13 years in jail and DNA freedom. He's 13 years in prison, something he didn't do.
Here's the thing. Is, like, for me, right? Like, this is speaking for me. I mean, I've been blackballed, right? It's great. I don't even mind. I was blackballed, like, here in the Maritimes for wrestling. That's cool with me.
We're completely eliminated from the equation.
Yeah, tell
that story without using names, because I think people need to hear it again.
Well, and I mean, I want to, but it's like, the NWE owner threw me out. He basically told me that he's unfriending me because I went and spoke to someone, which I didn't speak to anybody. And I even looked into it, and there was nothing that even came back to me about it. And I've been befriended. His partner in the business, NWE, they blocked me, blah, 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 and unfriended me, and I'm not welcome to come to their shows. You know what? If one of their guys is convicted or whatever this person decides to do, so be it. Listen, I know what I've done, and I'm cool. I know what you've done. You're cool. All I did was ask a question. You felt obligated to tell me the answer, which I appreciated. And now all of a sudden I'm a bad person. That's okay with me. I don't mind. If that's where you're at in your life, that you think I'm banned from your company and I'm not allowed to talk to people and all that good jazz, that's fine. We interview people from all over the world in all different walks of life. You've got friends up in NXT. You've got friends in WWE. I've got friends all down in the United States. Someone who I love to death. Someone that we have mutual friends with. A guy like Luke Gallows. All those people. Dude, I'm cool. I don't mind. We have this, and you and I do one hell of a great job with it.
Well, here's the thing, too, is I don't know if people on our show know your history, but you've been in broadcasting and even had a regular radio show, but you've been broadcasting as a podcaster, as a on-the-air radio host of a show for 9 years now, 10 years?
Altogether? Is that what we're saying, altogether?
Yeah, altogether, how long has it been?
13 years.
Yeah. So you're a journalist. Whether people want to understand that and admit to it or not, we have brought people on the show that are incredibly famous. I ran another podcast where I had everybody from Abyss to Bob Holly on there. And I consider myself, when I go on the air or when we have a guest, a journalist. And I ask the hard questions because that's really what I feel like is a journalist. I mean, I take this show that serious that when there's an issue or we have a guest on, we treat them the same as if, let's say Keith Morrison had a guest on who was on a Dateline ID for something, for a murder. I take it just as serious. I've interviewed people that have been wrongfully convicted. I've interviewed people that have been in the prison system for a long time on another thing that I used to do. And so I've been in the heart of the prisons of D.C., talking to people. In Attica in New York, I've been there, and a program I used to be involved with, where I ask people the hard questions, Wrestling just happens to be my passion, so usually it's not hard questions, it's fun stories and things like that. But, I consider myself sort of a journalist, and you definitely are. And so we are going to ask people the uncomfortable and the hard questions sometimes. That's just what we do.
Well, first, thank you. I appreciate your kind words. I really do. People need to realize that that's actually where our friendship began, was interviewing you on our show. That was mine and Melko's, called Rope to Rope, which I've actually spoken to Melko lately.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and it's, Malcolm and I, we were just doing our own things, and I've spoke to him, and as you know, I had Tim Keelaher here, who did the exclusive, and we were talking about Steve Carino, and I said, I know stuff about Steve Carino through you, and he said, oh my God, Steve's one of my favorites, and I said, dude, it's okay to, have a favorite, because he's in the business. He's been in the business for a lot of years, but he thinks, well, maybe you shouldn't. Oh, he's my favorite. That's okay. Great. I'll tell Q to tell him you said hi. It's okay to think someone's awesome and you want to say hi.
When I met George the Animal Steel, I said, I have always enjoyed what you do because you were unique and always respected it. And it was just really cool. And I wasn't marking out for him. I'm just telling him, hey, you took a gimmick that required very little physical work, and you still got over. And that's why he was wrestling until he was 70.
Right.
I wish I was that smart.
I know, right? He got over. He was still getting paydays when he passed. I mean, he was a smart man. And he was he was a teacher. So, I mean, he was a very smart man. My hat's off to George.
I met him in 1999 for Doug Yansky's group, Doug Flex's group, and he immediately gave me his phone number, and we used to talk, and we had a business deal that almost transacted back in 2009. It was pretty interesting. I'll tell you off the air, but it was pretty interesting, and I talked to him a lot, and I called him Pops, So, he was cool with it.
Here's what we're doing. We're taking a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the situation at hand. One thing I want to cover with you, I'm going to bring you up to speed real quick, okay? Jim Cornette. Big deal. A lot of stuff being said there. I want to talk to you a bit about it. I want to cover it. Jim's already gone on his podcast and spoke, so it's okay to speak of it. Stay here. I'm coming right back, Q.
Sounds good.
All right, we're back, guys. This is Triple T TV, and it is Wrestling Our Way, because only two guys can put a show like this on, and you're looking at them. They said diamonds worth forever, and so is Q, and so am I.
That's right.
Thank you, Rick. The big talk of the town has been Jim Cornette. Okay, now I don't even know how much you know of this, but there's been a lot of talk about Jimmy and Stacy, his wife, and I guess they've been crapping all over Stacy on social media, and Kenny Bolin, as you may know, was one of his best friends. They had a falling out, and Kenny's taking it to a whole new level. It's really kind of sad, really, because we don't drop names, and I'm not here to start new beef with Kenny or Jim or anyone else, because the way I see it is no one's been proven innocent, no one's been proven guilty. Jim gave his side of the story, great, but I'm still not crapping all over Jim, and I'm not crapping all over Kenny. But I just want to know where you hearing that, like, if whatever they're into, it's their business. You know what I mean? If they're talking to people or whatever they're doing, that's their business. And I just don't think that someone who used to be your best friend should be on there, blabbing about it and making fun of it. Can I ask your feelings on that? And if you don't want to talk about it, you can just say nay.
No, I don't mind talking about it. Look, I've known Jim Cornette a long time. Jim Cornette managed against me in Maryland Wrestling, Maryland Championship Wrestling. Jim booked me at the WWE in '98 and '99. And some people hate him and some people love him. I'm on the left side, and I don't think Kenny would have really been as famous as he is if it hadn't been for Jim. But look, if you're my best friend and we have a falling out, if you were really my best friend, I'm not going to try to bury you. I'm just going to go my separate ways. But to each his own. Everybody's got their own style.
Yeah.
If I was really your best friend, and look, I've got a great friend. We had a tremendous falling out. We patched it up, worked it out, and we're just as close as ever, if not more close. And that's happened to me twice. My best friend from high school that I've known since I was 12, him and I didn't talk for a couple of years, but I certainly, when people ask me what's up with Pat, I didn't say, oh, that piece of garbage, whatever. I just said, hey, I don't know, he's living in Rochester.
Well, and I mean, I don't know, I've always been a big believer, man. If he's your friend, you're kind of, just because you're not talking anymore, that don't mean you want to just, start blabbing off to anyone. I mean, it is what it is. I've been on both sides.
It would make me wonder if he was ever really my best friend.
Yeah, I've been on both sides, I've seen it, I've done it. Hindsight being 20/20 as I'm up over that, the hill, and I'm happy and loving life. You realize that that's not the way to go. I mean, you don't want to bring people down. That's just not cool. Whatever comes of that, I hope everything works itself out.
Well, it's funny. The host, John Stewart, my co-host on Sunday nights on Truth Busters, asked me today for a phone number for somebody, and I said, John, you gotta understand something. The only thing I do is post in the corner pocket. I hardly go through my regular page, and I just can't stand the drama that some people want to drum up.
Yeah.
I don't have my personal life. I don't subscribe to drama. I don't want to get stressed out by it. And, I see it all the time. I mean, I make a post and, I get attacked by people because I have an opposite view of some people that are on the liberal side, and that's their prerogative, and it's my prerogative to be on the other side. But, when you start getting into it with people that you thought were your friends for 25 years and all they can do is attack you, and we've made it no secret that I'm a police officer. I'm a reserve officer now.
Yeah, we have.
But, for people to jump on there, and it was funny, somebody jumped on me and said that the whole problem in Chicago was that the police weren't doing their job. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, that's not the problem in Chicago.
Yeah.
There's a lot of problems. It's a very corrupt city. It's also one of my favorite cities in the whole world because my partner John Stewart lives there. You know, I love Chicago. I've been there dozens of times, literally. And, I first met Chris Daniels when I wrestled for Windy City in like 1993. I don't even think he was wrestling yet. And I went up there and wrestled for him. So, I mean, I have tons of friends there. So when I say that there's an issue in Chicago that needs national attention, because they had 80 shootings over a weekend, 22 people died, including a 2-year-old kid who was in a car with his mom was killed. When I make a statement about that, it means that, look, I'm looking for protesters to all go to Chicago and protest this violence that's happening there. Deal with that. That's a serious issue. And I follow Candace Owens, and people, on the other side don't like it because she's a staunch Republican and she defends it, and she also defends, a lot of other stuff. So, but look, as I told one of my friends, I said I voted for Bill Clinton twice because I thought he was the best guy for the job. I don't always stay on a certain ticket. I vote for the best people I think that are being nominated for the job.
Yeah.
But yet I get attacked all the time. So I've just disengaged myself from the regular part of Cueball Carmichael's page because I'm not going to get into dramatic situations with people that I've known for 25 years that I thought were my friends. I'm not going to do it. So
yeah, I've gone. Yeah, I know. I don't blame you, honestly. Like, I'm the same way. Even when that guy Sean wrote me and was like, telling me like we're not friends and blah blah blah. The one thing I didn't do was I didn't write back even once. He made that decision, and he acted on it without any proof. He acted on it. You know what, man? If you're going to act on something, you're not going to just ask me the question. You're going to act on it without even checking.
Yeah.
Good enough. No problem. Blackball me.
Right. And you know what? You're better off for it because you don't need the drama.
And I won't take it. I will. That's why, again,
I
didn't open my mouth because it's just not worth it to me.
Yeah, no, it's not worth it, man. And that's the thing. People have to understand. I'm not going to subscribe to the drama you're trying to create on my page. First off, it's my page. If you don't like me, just unfriend me.
That's right.
It's that simple. I mean, lots of people have done it before. It doesn't matter to me. If I irritate you that bad, don't look at my posts. Don't subscribe to my stuff if you don't like it. I mean, after all, it is my page, not yours.
That's right.
You post what you want. I'm never going to attack somebody for having an opposite view as me because this country was founded. The United States of America was founded on the basis of healthy debate in the 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s, when political opposition from different parties debated. It was respectful. They didn't use low blows. They didn't do personal attacks. They didn't do that kind of stuff. In our society, the paradigm has switched so much. Just in the last, 30 years, 25 years, it has just switched so much that I'm not going to subscribe to it.
I wouldn't either. Why would you? You don't need it. It doesn't need to be there. Look.
I have 3 businesses. Okay, I have 3. I would rather focus my time and effort on building my businesses than I would on I unlike some people, and I'm not pointing out anybody in particular. I have more going on in my life that is profitable, positive, and people oriented than obviously they do because they sit in front of the keyboard and wait for somebody to put something up and attack them.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're sitting there collecting a Social Security check because they're disabled or they got a rich uncle or what they're doing, but they're on there 24 hours a day, it seems like. I'm like, really? That's your life, Facebook? I got to tell you something. I don't mean any ill will towards anybody, but if Facebook is your life, you got some serious issues, my friend.
That's right. No, I agree. But now I'm going to take you from We're going to stop talking low. We're going to go up a little higher. I'm going to bring up the mood a little bit, okay? Here we go. A man once created this great show. He had a vision, okay? He had a vision. You follow me? He had a vision, okay?
Yeah.
He was amazing. You know, he dropped a bionic elbow.
Yeah. King of Solomon said, "For without a vision, the people shall perish."
This man had a vision. And he
That's
called it the Great American Bash. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
This man is obviously no longer with us, but now this is where it's going to get a little bit more fun for us.
He'll always be with us in our hearts and our memories.
That's right. You know, he really, I often say he was Ric Flair's greatest opponent. You know, I always think he was the common man. You know, he came out of a ditch and became so sweet. You know, his hiney may have been a little big. His belly may have been a little big. But, brother, he was bad, and he knew he was bad. And his name was Dusty Rhodes. The Great American Bash just happened. Okay?
Happy late birthday to Cody Rhodes. It was a couple days ago. I wished him a happy birthday.
Oh, good. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy belated birthday, Cody.
Absolutely. Happy belated birthday. Cody's amazing. I mean, let's be honest. You know, he has, as much as I love Dustin, and I do love Dustin, you know, I think even Dustin would say if he could have just had this much of the talent on Cody's baby finger, he'd have been happy. Cody is a real pro, a true pro.
Very talented individual.
Yes, he
very
is.
Smart individual. Yeah.
Let's talk about the Great American Bash, what it meant to the Rhodes family, and then, of course, WWE giving that name to NXT for tonight was the pay-per-view. What do you think when you see that? Is that I don't want to say it's a knock, because it's not a knock, but do you think that they're doing that because AEW is grabbing names? Like, is it a bidding war, Q? Are they all trying to grab, like, oh, WCW had this one, let's get it. Oh, WWE had this one, they're not using it no more, it's not trademark, grab it. Is that what we're looking at here? Is this a draft of pay-per-view names?
Well, I'm going to tell you that Vince McMahon is the most competitive human being I've ever known. So, yeah, it's a war. It's a war for talent. It's a war for name. If you have your heart in this business, 100% your heart and your soul in this business, I think it's the time to support AEW. I think it's the time for another U.S.-based promotion to have talent, to have pay-per-views, to have a packed building. I think it's absolutely time for that to happen. But you got to understand that he's going against a billionaire, and he's going against a billionaire that's going to do everything he can, including taking the name the Great American Bash. He's going to do whatever he can do. But at the end of the day, people are smart enough to know the difference between their two. I have so much respect for AEW and what they're doing now and what they're trying to do. They're trying to create a wrestling organization versus just the pure sports entertainment business. Man, I give them tremendous credit for that. You know, I said 10 years ago, I gave TNA credit for trying to run a wrestling show instead of a sports entertainment business. But now it's AEW, and, you know, I wish them all the success in the world, and if I could do anything to help them, I absolutely would.
What's the difference, though, between 2010 TNA and 2020 AEW? In your mind. Like, in your mind, are they both the same? Or what's different that makes us think now Vince has a war?
Well, I think TNA, when they were new and they started to roll and they had the multi-sided ring, I think the day they got rid of that, they lost their identity. I think when they went back to the four-sided ring, I think that their identity was shattered, and I think they dropped the ball on that. That's just my personal opinion. I had many friends that worked there, but I think if you go back to 2000, even 2012 or 13, I think they were trying to run a wrestling show versus a pure sports entertainment business. I have not watched them lately more than about 5 minutes at a time, and it's just because if I'm going to spend my time watching wrestling, I'm going to pull up something from the 80s or 90s. I'm not going to pull up something current. The only thing I watch currently is AEW. It's just, to me, it's got heart and it's got soul, where Vince is all business. I think AEW's got heart and it's got soul. I think it really does. And it's got people in there that are super talented. It's getting great talent. And I think the difference is when you go to work for Vince, it totally becomes a corporate job. It really does. The travel, everything else, the money. I think I've talked to guys that have been there and left. I've talked to guys that have been there, left, and went back and left again. And, some of them are really good friends of mine. And when they were there, it was a grind. It was just a grind. And the fun wasn't there anymore. They were, I always said if I'd had a contract in the 80s and 90s, I would have lost money working for them because I had businesses making $250,000 a year profit, and it's not that I never wanted a contract. I would have loved one, but I didn't have that it factor that a guy like a Jericho has or Cody Rhodes. I didn't have that. I did as much as I could with my limited skill and ability and made my name on the independents, and that's fine for me because wrestling, when I went up to WWE the first time, they were losing in the ratings to WCW, and it was miserable. And then I took a few months off, and I went back up there when they were winning in the ratings. The Attitude Era was happening, and it was a totally different environment. And, I was up there with buddies of mine like the Headbangers and, a lot of guys, Matt and Jeff, and guys that I'd known for years. And but it wasn't quite such a grind then. But it's turned into a grind. Also, what happens that I don't like is you go back to the 80s WWE, when it was WWF. Vince would give a character to somebody, and he would let them run with it. He would let them become the character. He let the Bushwhackers be the Bushwhackers. He let Demolition be Demolition. He let Doink be Doink. He let guys take it and run with it. And everything wasn't scripted. And I've always said the day that writers replaced bookers, it was a bad day for professional wrestling. Bookers would say, hey, here's what I want you to do, and here's the character that you got. And I always tell the story when I say this of when they were creating Brutus Beefcake. Originally, they were going to put that gimmick on Wayne Ferris, the honky tonk man. And Wayne had come down with, I think, pneumonia or something, and he was mono or something. He was very sick, and they couldn't get him in at the time. So they brought in Ed Leslie and made him Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And when Wayne got well, they brought him in to be the honky tonk man. Now, could you for 1 minute in your life imagine Wayne is Brutus Beefcake and Brutus Beefcake is the honky tonk man? It's hard, but I'll tell you what, if it had happened, you would have noticed no difference.
True.
Because either of those guys could play that character, allowed to develop it as they saw their vision for the character with a little bit of guidance. And, those guys in the 80s and 90s, Attitude Era, they were allowed to create their character, and a lot of stuff in the Attitude Era was being written, but it was been written intelligently, and the guys were allowed to run with it a little bit. When it became scripted, to me, it sort of fell apart because it got robotic, and it got cookie cutter, and it got something that I just didn't enjoy watching anymore, because it got predictable. The greatest thing in the world about pro wrestling, the number one thing that you've got to have is unpredictability. You look at all the swerves and the turns, and back when Magnum got hurt and Nikita sided with Dusty, and he went into the cage against JJ and Tully Blanchard, and for a second he paused, and people didn't really know if he would turn or not. And the second he stepped through that rope and started beating on guys, the crowd went nuts. It was one of the biggest pops in pro wrestling. I happened to be at the WWE the night that Stone Cold stunned Vince for the first time. And that pop from that crowd was so loud, the back of the building vibrated. That's the stuff I'm talking about. That's wrestling. That unpredictability. When wrestling becomes predictable, it's just not that good anymore. When a fan can sit there and knows what's going to happen, it's just not good.
So, I totally agree. Now, a lot of people like to compare, they like to put blame on Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan for TNA and its failures in 2010. In your eyes, is that suitable? Would you say that's not right? I understand where they're coming from, but it wasn't like they were responsible for WCW failures. I really still don't believe that, but what's your thoughts on it?
Well, I don't think they were responsible for WCW's failure either. I think WCW imploded internally.
Yeah, I do too.
The day they put the belt on an actor was a bad day. Come on. I mean, you just sold out every tough guy in wrestling for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
You put the belt on David Arquette. Seriously.
You're not going to slap anybody in the face harder than that night.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I could destroy him in about 4.2 seconds, and he's the champ. So I think that was part of the implosion and the believability factor. And I think they were just set up for failure when they started signing guys to long-term, massive contracts, and all they were doing was sitting in the back.
Oh, I agree. Sit tight. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk more pro wrestling. All right, we're back here on Triple T Radio, Triple T TV, Turnbuckles, Trunks, and Titles. Yeah, we still own those rights too, though. So we're okay. Right? We're still Mason Lee Entertainment, so it doesn't even matter.
So I've got 4 businesses, not 3. Let me correct myself. And Stuart Jackson Entertainment with John Wright and the reality show treatments. The option just came off our one deal, so we're able to reshop it. Great ship.
How was Truth Busters this past Sunday? We know there was a little cluster. John was a little late. Forgot all about things. Maybe had a nap. Phone wasn't working. How was everything, though? And what do we have to look forward to this Sunday night?
I think it was fantastic. I think it turned out better than I expected. Maybe he should be late every week.
Yeah, we had a little bit of fun there, didn't we?
Yeah. We're going to do... I think we're going to do something we haven't done. I think we're going to do the pyramids. Not just the pyramids in Egypt, but the pyramids that they are starting to find all over the world. Which is interesting.
Well, the thing is, I love your show, and it's funny because really, I'm a fan like everyone else. I'm running production, but I am sitting there listening, and I get so into the show, I forget that I'm producing the show. I'll be sitting there going like this, like, oh, commercial. Like, we've been going a while.
I
But
appreciate that.
I love your show. I do, honestly. And I love the exclusive as well. And I know you guys are thinking, where are all these at? Well, guys, you can go to youtube.com and put in Triple T Radio Live. You can go to the website, tripletradio.com. And, of course, you guys know we're on Facebook. We're Triple T Radio. We're Triple T TV. We're everywhere for your guys, for all of you guys to enjoy at all times.
I don't think people understand, but when we first launched the podcast in October, we had unique visits from 13 different countries to our website.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I have a friend in Portugal that watches the show every week.
Yeah, and I've seen people from all over the world log in. Our website traffic is up. Our Facebook pages are up. You've noticed that. It's been great.
And we owe it all to the fans.
Yes, we do. Everything that we are.
We have some really loyal people that never miss an episode, and without them, none of this is possible.
No, I agree 100%. I hope the fans realize that. We weren't live last night.
Yeah, it's funny. We were talking about Steve.
We're live tonight.
Talking about Steve Carino earlier. I buy his coffee, and he buys my brainstorm.
I love that. Isn't that great? Is his coffee good? Send me some. I want to try it.
Oh my gosh, I will. It's fantastic.
I'd love to try it.
Steve's a guy. He's sort of a coffee snob and sort of a wine snob. And I like that about him, that he is very particular about his coffee. And I got to tell him, I said, is it a dark roast? And he goes, yeah, it's more of a medium dark. But I made a pot of it the old school way. I boiled it on top of the stove, and I strained off the grounds. And let me tell you, I put some whole milk in there, and I actually put some real sugar in there. And I'm not blowing smoke, but if you don't get Squared Circle Cafe coffee, you're missing out. And it's not a commercial for Steve, but I can tell you, it is probably the best ground coffee I've had in years. Because
Really?
I'm a coffee snob too. I'm very particular on where I get my coffee from. When I go up north, it's always Wawa, which is great coffee. Down here, I really have to make it myself to get a cup I like that's extremely strong, and it's just good. I put it in a gallon jug. I make a gallon at a time, and I put it in the refrigerator because I like cold coffee or iced coffee. So I drink 2 cups of it every single day. Big tumblers of
Where
it.
do I get my coffee from? Come on, Q.
I will get 2 from Steve, and I'll send you one. Seriously.
Oh, yeah, no. But for me, I have to go to Tim Hortons. Everything's Tim Hortons.
Well, do you like the coffee from there?
Oh, are you kidding me? It's the best coffee in the world, but I want to try your coffee.
You're a coffee snob, too?
Oh, I love my coffee. Yes.
Yeah.
I probably have about 5-6 cups a day. Sometimes more. Sometimes more.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Melissa tells me all the time I got to stop.
Look, I made
too much.
a post on Instagram that said, and I made it my Facebook page, it says, I run completely on caffeine, sarcasm, and inappropriate thoughts.
I'm in. That is you. That'd be me.
All right.
So what are we going to do next week on this show? I mean, I'm thinking let's move away from the speaking out movement, the issues in the world right now.
Why don't we ask the fans what they'd like us to do? Why don't they pick out an era of wrestling or 2 or 3 wrestlers that we can talk about?
Sure.
And current, and I'll do my homework, or it can be guys from the past or guys that have been, multi-generational guys. Whoever they want. We did a 6-part series on the National Wrestling Alliance. So anybody they want to hear about, I'd be glad to talk about, and be serious when you all put that in there.
Yeah.
So we'll really seriously go into that. So
And remember,
I
guys,
talk about, I did 33 straight appearances on Bruce Hart's radio show about 5 years ago, and Bob Johnson helps with that and sets it up. And I was on every week for a long time, and I got to tell you something, man. Calgary and the old Stampede is my most single favorite promotion in history. And I don't know if people know that about me, but don't get me wrong, I love the old NWA and the old WWF, but Stampede was so creative and so unique and had such a great thing going. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. It was. And
huge fan of that.
we still talk about it to this day here in Canada, especially. I mean, we all know it. I grew up, the Grand Prix was on the tail end. WWF is blasting off. Hulk Hogan selling out everything, as you know. And, of course, as I've gotten older, I've learned more. Getting into journalism, I've learned more about the Grand Prix wrestling and the Stampede wrestling, and even in New Japan and old, I've learned more about pro wrestling outside of the WWE and the WCW and the ECW. Even the companies you ran, I've looked up and seen.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on in the world, and the thing is, not everyone's got TV. Not everyone's got the resources. We're fortunate today because social media is so huge that we're able to show everyone what we have.
If you look at the comments on when I posted the IPWA and the IPWA alumni, if you look at the alumni that we had through that promotion, we ran 7 states. We ran for 6 straight years. We ran the same building every 6 weeks for 5 years and sold it out. But we had school shows that drew between 7 and 1,500 people. We were working closely with Maryland Championship Wrestling. They would run on Sunday night, so we would chip in together and bring in a big name, and they'd wrestle for me Saturday night and wrestle for Maryland Championship Wrestling, or before that, MEWF, Mid-Eastern Wrestling Federation. They would wrestle for them Sunday night. So Danny McDevitt and Dennis Whipwreck and all of us used to go in together, and we worked for each other. They'd work for me Saturday night, and so would the name. And then I'd go up there Sunday night and work for them, and so would the name. So, that was a classic example of how independent promotions can work together and do great things. Now everybody wants to slam the promotion. We were 45 miles apart. Baltimore and DC, we weren't drawing the same people. Why not work together?
Yeah, exactly.
We would have some people follow us to both shows, but that's just good for everybody, But you'll see some of the comments of, like, Brandon Edwards. This guy was such a fan. Him and Brian Holland, who's the executive vice principal of Fairfax County High Schools, those guys used to come to every show. And Brandon made a comment about it that, he'd never been to anything but a WWF show until he went to an IPWA show. And then his entire life changed because of the interaction. And he's been a friend of mine now since 1995.
Wow.
And so is Brian Holland. So, this was a different era. This was an era when it was okay for the baby faces to make friends with the fans, and they bring friends, and the building grew and grew and grew and grew. And these people still to this day stay in touch with me. About 2 years ago, he sent me, we used to do a program for the IPWA, and we would have pictures of the top 10, the top 10 tag teams. We'd have what's going on in wrestling today, all sorts of stuff. And he sent me one of the 3-page programs on thick yellow sort of cardstock paper that we printed them on, and gave him out at the door for free. And he sent me one of those in mint condition, man. I looked at it. It was like going down memory lane. Also, Dan Wright is C.W. Anderson's cousin. And Dan Wright was a big promoter in the 80s through the 90s down here in North Carolina. And Dan said about 4 years ago, he goes, I want to send you something. And I go, well, I'll see you at the Omega show next week. So it's 6 years ago. And he hands me an envelope. And in that envelope, he said, this is the most professional wrestling resume I've ever gotten in my life. I had created the actual version of a wrestling resume, which I posted oftentimes in there. I had an 8x10 black and white photo, an 8x10 color photo of me, and I had a videotape with 3 unedited, uncut matches on there, and I sent it to him, and he saw that, and it wasn't a day later, he's calling me and booking me on shows, and he gave it back to me. He's held on to it. He held on to it for over 20 years.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that was really
tip your cap to that.
Emotional for me that he thought enough, and all the moves that he had done and everything over the years that he had kept that packet. And he said, you can't believe how many times when somebody goes, oh yeah, check me out on YouTube, or they call me and go, hey bro, I got some good moves. And he goes, you sent me that packet, and then you followed up with a phone call to make sure I got it a week later. And he said, I've never been more blown away by anything I got from anybody, and I've kept it all these years, but I think it's time to give it back to you. So,
wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Unbelievable.
I like that. Well, what do you think?
About what?
About heading home.
Yeah, listen, I just want to ask the people if you could do us a favor. If you could go over to Triple T Radio Space Live on YouTube, and please just hit like and subscribe, because we're trying to build a YouTube following, but we can't do it without you guys. And if you would just do that, and I don't care if you watch the show on Facebook or you watch it on YouTube, it doesn't matter. But if you could head over to YouTube real quick and just hit a like and a subscribe, that really helps us out a lot.
Helps us big time, guys, and we're very thankful. Without you guys, we wouldn't have anything. So
yeah, they're going to pick next week's subject. So
yeah,
make sure you're watching this on a replay. It's not too late. You can still go ahead and
it's never too late.
An individual wrestler or an era of wrestling or a promotion in wrestling, with the exception of the NWA, because we do have a 6-part series you can go to YouTube and watch.
And if you don't know how to get a hold of us, guys, it's info@triplettradio.com. That's our email. We're at Triple T TV on Facebook, Triple T Radio. It'll come up for either or, because we just recently changed the name. We're on Twitter @Triple T Radio. We're on Instagram @Triple T Radio. Cueball's on Facebook. Cueball has a fan page there for you guys. Find us, like us, love us, and tell us what you want, because we're going to bring it to you next week here.
Yeah, because we found you, we like you, and we love you too.
That's right, man.
Look, everybody be safe. Have a great week, and we'll catch you back here next Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Not Wednesday. This is a special deal because of Canada today. So we have to recognize my partner who lives in Canada. So
it's hard for Q to do that, but I love him.
I might move there.
Happy Canada Day to the Canadian fans. Happy Canada Day to the world. And Q, I love you with all my heart. I won't see you before the 4th. I don't think will I see you before the 4th? We're the 1st now.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
Happy Independence Day, my friend. And happy Independence Day to your family, your friends, and anyone else that is listening and watching this show.
4th of July. Please be safe. Don't drink and drive.